Okay, so first things first, I just wanted to, again, thank you all for coming. Again, my name is Maya Melhan, and I'm excited to cover a little bit more about really what West-MEC is for you before we jump into our programs. So with that, I've got a quick video to show you.
You want more from high school, more doing, more training, more style. You want to learn how to help, how to build the future. You want to save lives, invent, and soar higher. You want West-MEC, career training for high school students. West-MEC, find your more.
Okay, so as you saw, West-MEC is really a great opportunity for a lot of our students, so we're excited to share more about our programs here today. First things first, before we dive into really the meat and potatoes of our day for our programs that still have some seats available for this year, I just wanted to make sure that everybody kind of was on the same page. So West-MEC is a public school district. We're what's called a career and technical education district. We cover 12 school districts in the West Valley. So really, pretty much Paradise Valley over to Wickenburg, down through Tonopah, around through Buckeye, Avondale, Tolleson, up through Glendale, Peoria. That greater chunk of the West Valley is all within our boundaries. So any student that lives in any of that area, whether they attend public school, charter school, whether they're homeschooled, they attend an online school, anybody is eligible to be thinking about our programs. Really, across our district, we have 28 certification-based career training CTE programs. So these are all hands-on programs designed to help students get some job options. So when they're graduating high school, they have a place to start. This is really at our core, our really reason for why we operate is to get students those opportunities and those certifications. These 28 programs are offered across 4 different campuses. So we recommend that students look at the campus that's closest to them and then figure out which program they're most interested in on that campus, just because we don't provide transportation. So that is something just for you to be aware of. We have our central campus in Glendale, which is right off of around 103rd Avenue in Glendale. We have our Northeast campus in North Phoenix off of about 19th Avenue and Deer Valley. We have our Northwest campus in Surprise off of Dysart and Grand, and we have our Southwest campus in Buckeye off of I-10 and Verrado. In addition to that, we do also have some programs in partnership with community colleges. So we have some programs offered on Gateway Community College campus, Estrella Mountain Community College campus, and Glendale Community College campus. So really, if students decide to participate in one of our programs, their day does look a little bit different because this is a commitment and something that students are working towards as they're continuing their high school opportunities. So this isn't West-MEC or high school, it's West-MEC in addition to their high school classes. So that does mean that a typical day looks a little bit different. Normally students will normally they start their day at their high school and then they finish their day with us, but some of our programs that is swap. So they'll start with us and then finish their day at their high school. It's normally about 2.5 hours a day, but it can be up to 4 hours a day. They spend part of their day here and then part of their day at their high school, still taking those core classes. So that's really why it isn't West-MEC or their high school, and it is both. So West-MEC fulfills that kind of career exploration, career training, certification piece, while then their high school fulfills the core classes. And that allows them to work towards their diploma and certifications at the exact same time. So that's really a huge driving factor for West-MEC and a big reason why is those certifications while students are still in high school or potentially right after. That just really kind of quickens things up for them a little bit. So when they're graduating high school or very soon thereafter, they have some job opportunities. So that's the real reason why we always recommend students to think about this, because it just gives you more options and more kind of things on your resume for the future. But some other reasons why to really be considering for West-MEC, While students are in high school, the state of Arizona pays for your education. So that means that when you're coming to West-MEC programs in high school, there's no tuition piece, there's just a registration fee. So that does bring down the cost pretty substantially for those of you that are looking at programs to complete while you're still in high school. The other thing is many of our programs do have some dual enrollment college class opportunities as well. So if you're looking at kind of testing out a career option that you will then kind of further later on, that is still an option for you. That is a huge opportunity in many of our programs. So that's the big why. It's a little bit about West-MEC. I just wanted to make sure that we started off the day discussing that a little bit more. In just a second here, we're going to dive into our programs. But just so you know, our website really houses a lot of information. The website is also where you find our application. So today, after you see these programs, if you decide, yes, I definitely want to apply for one of these, you will go to our website, which is west-mec.edu. And in the upper right-hand corner, you'll click apply now, and then you'll click high school application and fill out that application. You're going to want to do that as soon as you can because we start school next week for most of our programs. So the sooner the better for that. And you will definitely make sure that you turn it in to your counselor at your school or somebody at the district office if your counselor isn't back quite yet, so that it can be kind of filled out properly and sent over to West-MEC. So that's just kind of some back pieces about West-MEC. Now we're going to dive into really what you guys are all here for, which is to discuss the programs that we still have some seats available in for this fall. So these are programs that you could be applying for right after this today or tomorrow, to start with us potentially next week for many of these programs. So this is the order in which we're going to be going through the programs here today. I'll let you read through that. There's 14 total. What we've done is we will introduce a little bit more about the program and tell you a little bit more about what to expect in that program. And then from there, we have a video either from an instructor or a student or somebody involved with that program to give you kind of a more inside look into that program. And then we'll follow that up with the really important details as you guys are really going to need, which are those timeframes, locations, registration fees, all of that. So hopefully we're going to answer all of your questions that you have. But again, if you have any questions throughout anything today, go ahead and put those in the Q&A box, and Kevin is going to be monitoring that and making sure that he is answering those as soon as they come in. And then if there's some that are pretty common, we might save those to the end and answer those. We will have a question piece at the end to answer anything that we weren't able to get to throughout the presentation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kaylee, and we are going to go ahead and really jump into this.
Good morning, everyone. The first program that we are going to talk about is our Aviation Maintenance Technology program. And this is essentially learning how to be a mechanic for an aircraft. This is probably one of our most intensive programs because obviously if you're up in an airplane, you can't pull over on the side of the road if something goes wrong, right? So we need to make sure that these planes are working properly. In this program, you guys will learn how to develop a broad knowledge of aircraft systems and components through installation, overhauling, and testing. We do have a lab full of aircraft, so you get to actually work on airplanes in this program. So you're not just sitting in a classroom, just reading about it, learning about it. You will get to actually put your skills to the test. You also will be able to conduct inspections, engine operations, and critical maintenance procedures. And then you'll also learn how to troubleshoot, repair, and service aviation systems and components using FAA-approved procedures. And this is at our...
I'm be starting my 11th year teaching here at West-MEC in the Aviation Maintenance Program. Prior to that, I am a retired active duty Air Force mechanic for 22 years. And did a couple of years of aircraft restoration between the Air Force and teaching. I would tell them that aviation is a demanding but rewarding program. It's a lot of aspects. People have no idea how much is involved in aviation. From the ground to the air is a lot of work to see an airplane fly, but it's very rewarding, and you will learn many different skills in the aviation maintenance program. The thing I'm most excited about is probably the same thing I'm excited about every year. It's getting new students in here and just watching the light go on in their head that they get what they're being taught, and watching their knowledge grow throughout their tenure of 2 years here at West-MEC.
All right, so that was a look into our aviation maintenance program. We got to see what one of the instructors thought about the program. This program is a 2-year program. It is located at our central campus in Glendale, pretty much off of 99th and Glendale, right by the airport over there. It is from 1 o'clock to 5:35 p.m., so you will spend most of the afternoon with us. It is Monday through Friday. We run with a normal school year calendar, so we start in August and end in May. This program does have some summer sessions, so please keep that in mind. To be accepted into this program, you do need 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra, both with a C or higher. And it is a $525 registration fee. Our next program is avionics and drone electronics. And this is more of like the electronic board of an aircraft. Students also get to learn how to build drones. Unfortunately, we don't get to fly them in this program, but you do really get to understand and learn how they work. You'll be able to explore and evaluate advanced electronic systems using the same modern equipment and techniques as avionic experts. You'll also be able to analyze, troubleshoot, and maintain instrumentation and control systems used in modern avionics and drone technology. In this class, it's really awesome because they have trainer boards. So you can see if you do this switch, it controls different like flaps on the airplane. You get to see the whole dashboard. Really awesome lab that they have there. And then you'll also be able to create and assemble electronic components and circuit boards for maximum effectiveness.
Graduated from high school, went to DeVry Institute of Technology, where I studied electronics there for 3 or 4 years. Upon graduation, went to look for work in the Silicon Valley. Did not find what I was looking for, so I entered the military, and I became an avionics technician. Long story short, 4 years turned into 23 years. I spent those 23 years in different aspects of teaching or of learning electronics. It began with a 7-month course of basic electronics back in, we'll say, a long time ago. From there, I finished the military service, 23 years. I then worked for TSA as a officer, an agent at the airport. While doing that, I went back to school, got my bachelor's and master's degree, completed my master's degree, which required 500 hours of student teaching. I did my student teaching here at West-MEC, close to the end of that 500 hours. They offered me a position I couldn't refuse, and here I am. So this is my 5th year of teaching basic electronics, aircraft avionics systems, and now we've added drone technology. First, I would tell them that this is a program that requires some math skills, so don't think that it's going to be something easy. It is a program designed to give you exposure to those things we just discussed, the electronics of aircraft, the basic electronics, which could take you anywhere, and then of course the drone technology, something that's also new to me, I'll be honest, but something that we learned together, and just design in theory. Excited to teach next year. I hope now that I've gotten a couple of years under my belt, I can dig deeper into the modern avionics of aircraft electronics, because that's what the future holds, and that includes drone technology. I'd rather prefer to call it unmanned aerial vehicles. Sounds better than drones in my mind. I don't know why. Drone sounds like a toy. UAV sounds more professional. I don't know, probably not a big difference. Let's start as if this was the course. It is a 2-year course. The first year is primarily basic electronics. So what you see here is what we call Lab Volt. I'm not a favorite, I'll be honest, with a lot of the students, but this is that basic electronics component. Fundamentals of AC, DC, transistors, semiconductors, you name it. This is a program designed to teach you a little bit about all of that. Then as we move into our 2nd year program, one of the favorites students enjoy, they enjoy soldering. I will say that is one of the key points of the highlights of their stay here in this program. They do like to solder. That's that hands-on component that they all love, that I enjoy. But as you walk around here and look at these pieces of equipment, these are just trainers or simulators of different components of an aircraft avionics system. So over here, you've got your radios and GPS. Everybody's familiar with GPS now. That's the newest technology. This is an autopilot system. I like to compare these two here on the end because this is what we consider first generation. We call these steam gauges because they're older. We think of steam trains. And then what we've done now is with the modernization of technology, we've gone to one screen that displays all of these gauges. So if you looked at the two, you could compare the two and say that they're the same systems, just digital electronics here, analog here. Okay. Continuing on, we had drones built yesterday. We took all those apart so that we can build those again next year. So we have right now, I think, 10 drones that the students will be able to build. That's part of year 2. The final component, I would say, is preparing them for their FCC examination. That's that certification piece. We prepare them for 2 tests here. FCC Element 1, which is communications, allows them to use the communications equipment. And then FCC Element 3 is that part of the, that part of the training that allows them to repair, replace, install, that type of thing with that same equipment. The other critical components in this classroom are our CTSO. We are part of Skills USA. That part is designed to build those leadership professional skills components. So as a student here, you will be automatically enrolled. I expect some of my students to become the officers or the classroom leaders, which also requires them to do some off-school time work, attend some functions, some conferences, some competitions.
All right, so as Mr. Chambers said, this is a 2-year program. During the first year, you would attend from 4 to 6:30. The second year, you could attend from 1 to 3:30. Again, this is Monday through Friday, and it is a $125 registration fee. The requirements for this program is 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra, both with a C or higher. This is located at our central campus, just like our avionics program, right off of Glendale and 103rd. Our next program is coding, and this is really important, especially today, because I assume that all of you use at least one app in your daily life. So this is learning how to build apps, write and test computer code. So you kind of learn how computers either talk to each other or how websites work, things like that. You'll be able to solve power the modern world by writing code for interactive websites, mobile applications, and data science. You'll also be able to work individually and in teams to design creative, eye-catching, and responsive websites and mobile applications. And then you'll be able to write code in a variety of advanced languages that can be applied to various web and mobile technology platforms. So this is really awesome because you'll kind of get to see the work that you do come to life.
Yes, so my background originates from the industry. I spent about 5 years working through as a teacher at Apple. With being a teacher, I taught every piece of software that Apple does have to offer. I've also gone through and taught specifically the Swift programming language that's Apple's proprietary language. Also as well, I will go ahead and share that I spent about a year and a half or so at a computer repair store where I was able to learn the hardware aspects of computers. I would tell students considering this program that there are a lot of avenues within the world of tech. One of the beautiful parts about our industry is that it's ever growing. It's one of the most in-demand industries, and I would also go ahead and share that if you have a passion for developing software, developing websites, developing applications, even let's say coding on a smart TV, you have the ability to do all of those things through our program. Our program is a great segue either directly into industry or as well as college. So whatever your route is, I'll tell you the coding program will really be able to help you achieve it. Something I would be excited to teach next year is going to be database communication. So many things nowadays are ran via database. While it may sound a little bit boring, the intricacies of how the technology work truly go ahead and bring forth problem-solving skills that really are that aha moment for students. So the first time connecting to a database, that's one of my favorite aspects. We also do go ahead and get to use the server within our room, which looks pretty fancy, if I do have to say so.
So we do have seats still available at our 2-year coding program at our Northeast campus. You might see on our website that it is offered at our Central campus as well, but that is full. So we just have seats at our Northeast campus this year. That is in North Phoenix off of Deer Valley and I-17. The first year runs from 4 to 6:30. Second year is from 1 to 3:30, Monday through Friday, and it's $125 registration fee. And same requirements, 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra with a C or higher.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you, Kaylee, for taking those first few programs. And the first program that I get to talk about is our automotive collision technology program. So this program is really teaching you all about really everything above the hood of the car. So this is the body work. This is really doing a couple exciting things for those vehicles. So in this program, you'll learn how to breathe life into damaged vehicles by restoring them to pristine condition. You'll learn how to refinish automobiles and trucks through blending, matching, and custom color design in a professional paint booth. And you'll also learn how to restore exterior panels to their original integrity, function, and appearance using modern welding, sanding, and fabrication techniques. So just think about in our kind of area, just how many vehicles get in accidents every day or need to be kind of restored to some newer standards. There's a lot of different opportunities for you to really kind of take this to many different lengths.
In my background, I started out taking this as an elective in high school, and I enjoyed the program so much that I kind of pursued it. So I got out of high school, went to an automotive technical school, graduated from there, and then did a lot of work for myself. After that, I came back and worked for a couple shops, and then I bought a body shop, which I ran for 10 years. And then I wanted to kind of get back to the basics, so I started teaching. So this will be my 21st year teaching auto collision, which I love doing. I think a program like this you have to be artistic, like to work with your hands. You do need to be self-motivated. I think that's real important. But it's a rewarding program because you can see a vehicle that's damaged and needs to be fixed, and you can see it through the process, and when you're done, it'll look like one of these cars, which is really nice. think new incoming students is always fun to teach because you can show them new things. But I'm excited to take the second year students and bring them to the next level for competitions and doing restorations and things that we do.
Okay, so we have a lot of really amazing labs at West-MEC, but the Automotive Collision Technology Lab is definitely one of my favorite. It really does have amazing things that students are working on all the time. So this is a 2-year program and it's located at our Northeast campus, which is in that North Phoenix area. The first year is from 1 until 3:30 p.m. The second year is from 7 to 9:30 a.m. Again, this is Monday through Friday. The registration fee for this program is $125, and students need 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra, both with a C or higher, to be a part of this program. All right, so the next program we are going to talk about is dental assisting. So really, if you're thinking about all the dentist office in the Valley, they all need dental assistants to make sure that that runs smoothly. So there's lots of different job opportunities here. In this program, you'll learn how to perform digital x-rays, chairside assistance, and use advanced instrumentation and technology to work alongside a dental professional like a dentist or a dental hygienist. You'll learn how to develop the passion to make a difference by educating adults and children on the importance of oral health and hygiene, because you're going to learn a lot about the different ailments and diseases and things like that that you can have with poor oral hygiene. And you'll also learn how to take impressions, make dental models, and create whitening trays. So you really do learn quite a bit. You'll see in the image here, they're taking x-rays, so that's a huge component of this. Lots of different opportunities here. So let's check out the video really quickly.
Hi, I'm Emma Spate, and I just finished my first year, and I'm also our CTSO president this year.
My name is Alexis Francisco. Along with Emma, I'm also the vice president here at West-MEC.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Ehrman. I'm one of the dental assisting instructors.
One of my highlights for me is definitely working with impressions, because you get like that satisfaction when it comes out great and perfect.
It does take a lot of tries though. Yeah. Mine would be working in lab. I really like just doing anything. We work on the computer a lot. We clean each other's teeth, which is really fun too. So that's what I do. I plan on going to NAU and getting my BSDH for dental hygiene. What about you?
Along, I work part-time or full-time as a dental assistant, along with going to school to further my knowledge in dental.
You have to really work hard and pay attention and take notes and make flashcards. I made a lot and it really helped this year.
It definitely is. Like, it may seem like a lot, which it is, but don't like stress yourself over it, because you will be fine and you will get through it.
I've been in the dental assisting field, orthodontics to surgery, many different facets. You did a little bit of sales in dentistry, but I ideally love the chair side. That I have a little over 20 years experience. I also have 10 years now of dental assisting teaching. For me, it's the joy of watching them grow in this career pathway. I have students that are going on to be dentists already, hygienists, dental assistants, office managers. The opportunities in just our first year program here, our first year graduates have already gotten jobs. So out of the 45, I believe over 25 have jobs before they actually graduated. To come in with an open mind, to come in with an opportunity to learn professionalism, leadership that will carry their career path whatever direction it is that they choose to go to hygiene, to become a dentist, just being an assistant, learning how to network, how to market. But this job, this career choice can be a part-time to full-time job while you're deciding what it is that you want to be when you grow up. Well, I love teaching the radiology portion. It's one of our state certifications that we get for the students. teaching them how to take the x-ray, but more than knowledge, how to pass this state certified test. Radiation is a serious component, so learning how to take those properly and safe is important. We have to have that certification to be in the dental field, so it is very critical. But teaching them the knowledge and aspect on the radiation is rewarding, and watching them get that certification is very, very gratifying for them and their families to get that as a graduate from West-MEC.
So we're going to learn how to take x-rays next year. And then this is just one of our chairs. We have 8 operatories, so they all look the same. They're on both sides. This is our basic setup area. We have air, water, syringe tips, saliva ejectors, just all the basic needs when you're cleaning teeth. And then these are our barriers that we put up before when we set up our operatories also. What else?
Imagine here we have a chair which can be adjustable for like this height, or like either laying it down for the patient or bringing it up and down like that. Along with our live computer, so he or she can see movie or info for us. And here's like
Our tray.
Here, well, we can add many different accessories depending on the type of like job we're doing. So
And these are just our basics. So this is our air, water, syringe, and then our saliva ejectors. These ones are disposable HVE ones. So we use these for like bigger stuff and like debris. They mainly use them for like surgeries and stuff. So we don't really use those that much. So these are some impressions that we're taking. So this is one of our spatulas we use to mix. This is one of our bowls, and then we use this to mix it.
to make the overall process of mixing it out easier.
This is the stone, so this is after it's fully finished, and it just has to be trimmed in one of our model trimmers.
And here our sterilization room, it's the room divided up by 2, but it's the same accessories and machines on both sides.
So we have our gloves, and then our sink where we rinse stuff. And this we use for placing our trays in like a holding solution to clean them before they go into the autoclave.
So the different steps of sterilization to completion. And learning all the different materials and products.
Oh yeah, more dental materials. These are all of our impression trays, different sizes. That's about it.
Okay, so that was our dental assisting little video for you. And this is another program that is located at multiple campuses, but we only have seats available at our Southwest campus, which is in Buckeye. This is a 2-year program. The first year of the program is from 4 until 6:30, and the second year is from 1 until 3:30. Again, it's Monday through Friday, and the registration fee is $125. This one, the requirements are a little bit different. So we need 1 credit of English and 1 credit of a lab science like biology, both with a C or higher. And at this point, I would just also remind you that, West-MEC programs can be perfect if you want to go directly into the career field for whatever that program is. So if you want to be a dental assistant, this totally makes sense. But these programs are really also still a great opportunity if you're interested in using this as a stepping stone. So if you want to be a dental hygienist or a dentist or an orthodontist, this allows you to start making really networks and connections in the industry and getting experience immediately after high school, which then opens up more opportunities for you in the future because you've had more experience and you know more people that might be hiring and things like that. So I would just use that as a quick little reminder for you. All right, let's go check out the next program. Okay, so next we're going to talk about medium heavy diesel technology. And this is a program that is all about really the mechanics of diesel engines. This can be everything from kind of residential trucks all the way up to semis. So in this program, you'll learn how to analyze and repair advanced mechanical, electrical, and computer systems for a variety of diesel equipment. You'll use the latest computer-controlled technology to maintain heavy equipment in a rapidly changing industry. And you'll also conduct all aspects of workshop operations, interact with clients, and market unique products and solutions. Arizona, and specifically the West Valley, is really an interesting area for this program because we're on a lot of corridors. So we have the I-10, we have I-17, we have the 303, we have the 101, we have the 202, and there's diesel trucks on those all day, every day. And it's really a matter of when they need maintenance or when they need repair because they're driven so often. So there's a variety of different opportunities, whether that's at a dealership or more of a kind of locally owned and operated location. But there are many, many ways that you can take this information here and in other locations as well. Okay, let's check out the video.
Hello, this is Dennis Doherty from West-MEC Diesel Program. My experience, my background is pretty extensive, starting with dirt bikes and lawnmowers as a young kid and working up into cars and light trucks and heavy trucks and everything in between, bumper to bumper. Grew up in New England, state of Vermont. It is one of those areas where you work on everything that comes in the door. So there's a lot of diverse experience there. My main focus is electronics, drivability, and transmissions. You are going to learn and demonstrate a lot of valuable skills in and around the truck, medium-duty trucks, heavy-duty trucks, some equipment-related stuff such as hydraulics, which is a very important part. And even if you decide to go to a different route in the field, out of the field, a lot of these skills are going to be transferable, whether it be the math skills, the professional skills, or the speaking skills. You will gain something from this program. Most excited to teach this year would definitely be the engines section of the class and the drivability electronics that go along with it, and right behind that the transmission and drive chains section.
Okay, so this is another 2-year program and it's only offered at our Northeast campus off of I-17 in Deer Valley. The first year of the program is from 4 until 6:30. The second year of the program is from 1 until 3:30, again, Monday through Friday, and a registration fee of $125. And the requirements are 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra, both with a C or higher. All right, Kaylee, back to you.
Hello, everyone, again. The next program that we are going to talk about is environmental sustainability. And especially living in Arizona, I think that this is a very important program and just a good thing to be aware of and also to know. In this program, they are learning how to reuse water, essentially. I feel like that's the easiest way to explain this program. They learn about different types of water flow and kind of how they can build different structures. If you can see in this picture, that's a pretty cool little thing that they have in the lab. It's a table, and up at the top, there's little water spouts so you can like kind of simulate different rainfall. I'm sure they might show you this in the video, but it's just a really cool thing to actually see how water works, how water flows, and then kind of where it collects, and then how they can reuse that. So we're not wasting water here, especially in Arizona since it's so dry here. In this program, students are able to provide innovative solutions to impact the powerful dynamics of natural resources and environmental concerns. You'll also be able to apply scientific and engineering principles to solve current environmental issues. And you'll also be able to design, operate, and maintain sustainable distribution and treatment systems for water resources vital to our communities. Let's check out the video for this one.
Okay, my background is mostly in the nuclear power field. I was qualified in water treatment. We have our own water treatment plants. And for those who don't know, nuclear power plants is zero carbon emission. So we're very environmentally conscious, and that's pretty much it. I've been there about 40 plus years. So if you're considering a career in environmental, we cover a wide range of topics, including the water cycle, how water interacts with the environment, what things can we do to keep a good, clean supply of drinking water for our own use. We cover a lot of things that are related to chemistry, microbiology, engineering, and our main focus is in water treatment. I think I'm real excited because this year we were getting a lot of equipment in as we went. I would say we have about 90% of the equipment here. We've used it, so we vetted out some of the bugs that were in it. And I think we'll just because I'm more familiar with it, I think we'll be able to get more topics in than we did last year. So we talked about understanding the water cycle. This is our water trainer. It's empty right now, but we will build a topography, dirt, rocks, dig some riverbeds, dig some streams. We'll fill it, make those flow. We'll see how the environment affects it, and we'll make it rain to see, well, what happens when ground is saturated, what impact does that have? So even though it doesn't look like much now, we had a lot of fun building it. The students actually built the whole Star Wars town, which got washed away when the dam failed, but that's what we did. Set up over here is most of our microbiology and chemistry tools, where when we do testing of water for either the proper dosage of chemicals or for microbes, this is the equipment we'll be using. What this allows us to do is to set up 4 samples under different conditions to see what chemical dosage or time for mixing is best. When we're dealing in water treatment, you're dealing in millions of gallons a day, so you don't want to do a chemical dosage and find out it was wrong at the end and have to do it all over, so we'll do it here. Pretty interesting. This is most of our engineering equipment. We use the tensile tester and the Sharpie V-notch to do some destructive testing. Yes, you heard me right, destructive. So we'll put samples in and we'll see when they break to determine the strength of material or what can it take. We also learn some precision measuring. I'm doing some inventory on the chemical sample kits. These are some of them. We can do total dissolved solids, chlorine. We can test for just about anything that's in the water. But because the chemicals are consumable, we have to check them every year to see, do I still have enough left for when you guys come in? We can do the same experiments. There's a bunch of things that we have stored away. You know, this is just kind of what we had to leave out because we ran out of storage. But it's pretty amazing the number of things that we do in just a year.
Okay, so that was a really awesome look into our environmental sustainability program. This is a 1-year program. So if you are a current junior or going into your junior year this fall, you can apply for that this fall and take it your senior year. Or if you're going into your senior year, you can apply right now because we still have seats available for this. So if this is something that interests you and you want to take advantage of this while you're in high school, this is a really awesome option. This runs Monday through Friday from 1 to 3:30. This has a $125 registration fee, and the requirements for this course is 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra with a C or higher. And this one is only at our Southwest campus, but like we said, we still have some seats available for this one. All right, let's check out our next program. We have emergency medical technician. So most of you guys probably know what an EMT is. And this is where students learn different life-saving procedures. They learn CPR. They learn how to kind of respond in an emergency situation. And this is where they really get to learn how to communicate with doctors. So once they get them to the hospital, they can effectively say what has happened and kind of what they think is going on. So they're able to deliver critical life support care using a wide variety of medical and diagnostic equipment. So they learn how to use all of those tools inside an ambulance. They're also able to experience fast-paced emergency situations where your actions really make a difference. And then you're also able to treat a wide range of patient conditions through a deep understanding of the human body. So you also learn a little bit about anatomy, physiology, things like that. This one is at a community college, so you do also receive college credit for this as well. And then I want to point out as well, some of our programs do offer dual enrollment too. So if you have questions about that, feel free to ask if that's something that is interesting to you. But for now, let's take a look into our EMT program.
Hello, my name is Kai Sablan. I am in the EMT program here at West-MEC, and this is my lab. Some things that I learned throughout this course are just the basic EMT certification. These are the dummies that we work on as well as each other. Each dummy has a specific thing that we go off of, like, how we perform OBGYN scenarios, things like burns. We use these simulations for the gurneys and stretchers, along with other things that we've learned. We've had our CPR certifications, we're going to get our NREMT certifications, and National Registry is coming up pretty soon. So that'll give us the certifications that we need to go out and actually work on the field in ambulances. I'm using my certification from this program to enlist in the Navy and become a corpsman. That field is very competitive and anyone can be a corpsman, but having this certification and the college credits that I'll gain from this program will push me to the top of that list. Some things we learned through this program are CPR and ventilations. So this is an example of one of the dummies we have. We'll go ahead and strip. This is what we have. We can perform CPR, we can open up the airway, and this does have a bagging compliance mechanism. So as I put air into this patient or this dummy, you can see the chest rise. Those are just a few things that we've learned in this program, along with many other life-saving skills, and I'm very thankful to be part of this program. West-MEC in its entirety is a wonderful opportunity that any high schooler should be a part of. I saw West-MEC as a great opportunity. My counselor, Ms. Grumbling, really pushed me to get into it, and I wasn't really sure what program to get into, and as I took a look at them, the EMT program definitely interested me, and I'm very glad that I joined. On top of all the life-saving skills that we have learned from the CPR and ventilations to different things and medicines that I can compare to real life, it's the social skills too. I've gained a lot of friends. I'm friends with my entire class, and meeting all these new people and being able to run these scenarios and make these new friends, so when I go out into the real world, I'll be able to take those skills with me. Do it. Even if it's not this program, if there's something else that interests you, take part in it. It doesn't hurt. These programs are very inexpensive, and for most of the West-MEC courses, you can get interviews and jobs right after you get out of it, right after you get certified. And even if you don't intend to go into that field, it doesn't hurt to have that under your belt, to have that experience. I lost nothing from being in this program, but I can gain so many things by the end of this, including those certifications. And I can take that on. If I don't want to go onto an ambulance, I'll still have it. So in case something does happen out of the blue, someone maybe has a heart attack, I know what to do. I can be that person that can potentially save that life. My days do get pretty busy. I have West-MEC on top of my actual high school, and I also work. So having all of that in a day gets pretty crazy. I have my school, and I do have West-MEC early release, so I get out at 11. I have maybe a couple hours of lunch, change, get ready, and then my class starts at 2. From 2 to 5, I have my West-MEC. It's 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. And then after that, it ends about 5, and then around like 5:30, I go into work, and I close till about 11. So anytime I can get to study, to do homework, I take full advantage of my weekends. If I'm not working, then I'm studying and doing homework. But I tend to function better when I have a lot of things to do. You know, if I don't have much planned, or if my agenda isn't full, I can push it off. Man, no, that's whatever. I can handle that later. But having my schedule full, it makes me feel productive.
All right, so that was a great look into kind of what they do in our emergency medical technician. It is from 4 to 6 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, so you get Fridays off. At our Gateway Community College, we do have 2 different locations for this one. We have one at our Gateway Community College Deer Valley location from 4 to 6 o'clock, and then also at our Estrella Mountain Community College in Avondale. So just kind of keep those locations in mind. One might be closer to you than the other. And for this, it is a $350 registration fee. And for the program requirements, you do need a 3.0 GPA or higher. If you are really interested in this and don't have a 3.0 GPA, then there are some other testing that you can do to qualify for this program. Our next program is fire science. So this is where students get to learn how to fight different types of fires. They learn about different residential and wildland firefighting techniques. So if there was a wildland fire, they would know what to do. Same with residential. They kind of learn like the structures of buildings and just how fire reacts with different things as well. In this program, that you'll be able to experience the satisfaction of being a first responder, saving lives, fighting fires, and contributing to a safe community. You'll also be able to operate a wide range of firefighting and life-saving equipment alongside professional firefighters and EMTs. And you'll also be able to develop your mind and body through rigorous mental and physical training. So there is a physical aspect to this as well, because you're in those turnouts as you see in the picture. You're lifting heavy hoses. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a fire hose or tried to lift one, but even without water, they are pretty heavy. So this is just a really awesome program if you are interested in fire science. And a little note for this one, since both EMT and fire science are a one-year program, fire science, you do need your EMT certification if you want to go into the fire academy. So if you're interested in fire science, it's a good thing to look into EMT and fire science as well. But for now, let's take a look into our fire science program.
I'm Sparanta Claes, and I'm the Post-Secondary Partnerships Manager here at West-MEC. I'm so excited to tell you a little bit about fire science. It seems like every time you look at the news, you see something about wildfires in Arizona, and really in the United States. This summer in our state, the Alamo fire in northern Arizona displaced so many people from their homes, and others fear losing their cabins up north. Animals, property were destroyed. How do people get training to become wildland firefighters? Well, one place that has that training is West-MEC.
My name's Kanan Reinhardt. I'm from Waddell, Arizona, and I took the fire science class at West-MEC. I learned a lot. A lot of it was determination, and you had to stay focused. What you learn in that class is a lot of fire fundamentals on how to fight fire, how to stay fit, and just kind of the fire culture. It's a very cultural and very political job that you're going to go into, and you have to learn how to work with others, learn how to be a team player, and you have to learn to make sacrifices and think about stuff, because at the end of the day, you are going to be leaving your family a long time. I think it's a lot of just teamwork is one of the biggest things you're going to learn, teamwork. Right now I'm a wildland firefighter. I work for 2 different departments. I work for a private contractor, and I work for Vernon Fire District up by Snowflake, Arizona. I'm on an engine crew. It's a 3-man crew. We do almost the same thing as a hot shot crew, just 3 men, and it's great. You work structure protection, we do a lot of point protect, and we get to see a lot of wild stuff. Training with West-MEC was one of the best opportunities I could get. A lot of people were very envious of me doing West-MEC, and I was very thankful to have that opportunity. Training was, you really just, you learn everything. And when I say everything, that's a very broad term, very broad spectrum. But it's one thing that you're gonna have to experience for yourself. Everybody's gonna take something different from it. What I personally took is just a lot of friendships, a lot of connections, and then obviously education. Education-wise, I got a lot of experience, such as learning how to cut line, learning how to drag hose, load hose, work on the truck, because that truck is your lifeline. You learn that communication, like I say, that is one of the most important things out there, is communicating and teamwork. So.
Right. So like I mentioned before the video, this is a 1-year program. It does run 1:30 to 4:30. Wow, 4:30. And then you get to choose if you want to attend either Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. So this is not a Monday through Friday kind of class. This is a $100 registration fee. And since this is in partnership with a community college, you do need a 3.0 GPA or higher to get into this program. This is in partnership with our Gateway Community College, and this is at our Glendale Community College campus. And one other thing is, if you are interested in this and you are going into your junior year, you can apply for this and then think about taking EMT your senior year, since we do have seats available. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Maya for the next program.
Alrighty, so one thing just to make a quick side note as we're going through here, for the programs at community colleges, so EMT and fire science, if you know anybody that's really interested in those programs, but they've already graduated, they can also go through that program through the community college. So you can take those ones with us while you're in high school, but there is still some opportunities after graduation. The programs on our campuses, like the one I'm about to talk to, we can actually really have you finish this or start this right after you graduate as well. So there's a little bit of flexibility. If you finish any of the program after graduation, there is tuition. If you have any questions about that, go ahead and put that in the chat box and we can answer that for you. All right, so let's dive into general construction technology. This is huge in Arizona right now, really all of the United States, but Arizona is really experiencing a lot of growth. We don't have enough really skilled workers to be able to meet that need. So there's a lot of job opportunities and they pay very, very well because of that. So in this program, you're going to learn how to work alongside industry professionals in all aspects of construction, which is including carpentry, masonry, plumbing, electrical, and finishing. You'll learn how to operate hand and power tools to complete construction projects on schedule. And you'll also learn how to work as part of a team on residential projects to promote a safe working environment. This program really does cover a little bit of everything in the construction industry. And going back to, you can use this as a stepping stone. We have even had students come to this program that want to open their own construction business, and they're going to go get a degree in business after finishing this program and then go from there. So again, it can be a direct pathway or a really great stepping stone. All right, let's hear from the teacher, Mr. Markham, for this program.
Well, I am diversified and not what normal people would expect. I was a senior pastor for 31 years and traveled all over the United States working for churches that were in trouble and would build the church back up. In that process, they had a lot of men who were unemployed in the churches, so I started teaching them a trade. I grew up with a grandfather who taught me how to build, And my other grandfather 11 miles away was a farmer, and so I learned how to weld. And so in the process, I started a business when I was about 13, welding implements for all the neighbors, which turned into a business. And so I taught welding for West-MEC for 4 years, and then we did a lot of homes and military housing with those people, and turned into a full-time job with that. And so I had 3 superintendents that ran the jobs for me, and I continued to pastor as well. So that's kind of my background. Retired early, and then my wife is assistant to the superintendent, so they asked me would I consider helping them with the a welding program, and so we did. And then they asked me to go to one of the other campuses, and so I did. And then they said, we're building a new one, would you go out there? And so I did. And so that's kind of my background. My biggest thing is you have to be willing to make a mistake. Until you're willing to make a mistake, you can't learn. And so we spend a lot of time in just creating environments in which it's okay to try. It's all right if it doesn't work, we'll just put another one down there, no big deal. And until you can get a student to do that, a student won't take an attempt to learn anything. Or they by talk say, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but they don't really know. So you have to get them over that part. It is not necessarily what I want to teach, it is the change that happens in them from can't look in the eye, no confidence. You ask a question, they look down, they don't want to be answered, to the point that they're going, oh, I got that. To me, that's the paradigm shift that allows all of the skills that we do to make a difference in their life. We have all of our lumber storage, so that's pretty cool. So they can walk out and get whatever lumber, just like they would go to a store and purchase what they need. Mm-hmm. Every student, on every single thing they build, they have to draw the blueprint first of what that looks like. Even if this wall is identical to this one, they have to label it as the north wall, they have to label it as the south wall, and they have to draw the entire blueprint. Just like you would get a full rollout of computer CAD animated a picture of the house. The students do elevation, which means how high off the ground in elevation it is. And all of the front pieces that all go with it, and the entire interior they have to do blueprints on. So when you go to a job site, you may only have 3 out of 10 people can read a blueprint. And here you got a high school kid who walks in there and can read every blueprint.
Okay, so this is another one of our one-year programs, and this one is located at a couple campuses, but the only program or the only campus that we have seats in available in right now is our Northeast campus, which is I-17 in Deer Valley area. This is another one that if you are starting your junior year, you could either look at this year or next year. So that is just something to keep in mind. And we have some other one-year programs that you could stack, like our electrical trades program or air conditioning program are probably the most common. This one at Northeast campus is from 7:30 till 11 a.m. So you'll start your day with us and then finish at your high school, Monday through Friday, $125 registration fee. And the requirements are 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra, both with a C or higher. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and go check out the next program. Okay, so next we're going to talk about our law and public safety program. So this program is really one that has a variety of different opportunities from it, as many of our programs do, but this one is really quite a bit of opportunities. So mainly the things that students are looking at after finishing this program are going into the police academy, going to school to be a lawyer or a judge, going into dispatch, or going into corrections. So as you can see, there really is quite a broad kind of depth of knowledge that's going to be covered in this program. So students will learn how to experience law enforcement by exploring patrol procedures, crime scene investigation, forensics, emergency dispatch, security, and corrections. They'll learn to strengthen their mind and body through rigorous mental and physical training, including advanced self-defense tactics. So we do have physical training a few days a week. They will be working out in this program. And then they'll also learn how to evaluate aspects of the legal system, including constitutional, federal, and state laws, as well as charging and sentencing and using force justification. So obviously this is just a really wide variety of information covered, very critical for students that want to go into the police academy or go into dispatch or corrections, but really good if you are interested in being going into military or even going into being a kind of crime scene investigation or a lawyer or a judge. So let's hear from one or a couple of our teachers and students actually, so that you can hear a little bit more about this program.
My name is Jalen Avila.
Hello, I'm Isaac.
I'm Sky. I'm Juliana. My favorite part about the program is being able to meet new people and being able to get my foot in the door with certain jobs and careers.
I have to say DT, defensive training. I like getting hands-on with things and just learning about all the different things about becoming a policeman just finds me interested in it more.
My favorite part is honestly, like, we get to do a lot of activities and we are very involved hands-on.
Yeah, we're just like all the hands-on stuff, like all the working out and like defensive tactics that we do is like super fun.
The scenarios too.
Yeah, the scenarios. And Mrs. Anderson is like a great teacher, making everything like hands-on and stuff.
And she pushes it forward for us.
Yeah. My plans after the program are to go into college to study criminology and to be a defense attorney.
After, I think I'm gonna go to college for a couple years and then I might get my training in being a medic and then maybe go become a firefighter.
My plans is to go into the Air Force and probably become like a police officer in the Air Force, and then after go into a general area, the same.
My plans are to go and work for dispatch for like an agency and then get my criminal justice degree, I think, while I'm doing that, and then once I'm 21, go into the police academy. I would tell students that are interested in the program to join because it's another career that you can like look into, and it's something you can practice and get your foot in the door with other programs too, because you're meeting new people like officers and stuff like that.
Don't be nervous. Like, you got in order to be in this program, you gotta be able to be confident and talk to other people. You gotta learn how to get out of your shell and like be more vocal.
Don't be nervous and just go for it. If you're interested in it, just go for it. Don't stop yourself. Just keep pushing forward. And even if you feel like you can't do it, mind over power, like, you got it.
Just do it and work hard and you'll reap the benefits.
Believe in yourself.
Hi, my name is Anna Anderson and I am the Law and Public Safety Instructor here at West-MEC Northwest Campus. I am retired from the city of Surprise and I've been here for 3 years. My favorite thing about teaching this program is working with the students hands-on, being able to go into the lab and actually apply what we've learned in theory, and watching the students grow and become better at hands-on training. I would tell students who are interested in the program that you will come in thinking that you're going to do one thing, and it is completely different than what you thought your experience was going to be. I have a lot of students who come in and think that they're going to do something specific, a specific career, and they find their niche somewhere else because of all of the different aspects of law enforcement that we cover.
Okay, so that was some more about law and public safety. You heard a little bit about this in that video. So somebody mentioned that she wants to go into the police academy, but she has to wait until she's 21. So for students that are interested in going into that police academy, there is an age limit. You have to be 20 and a half before you can start the academy, or 21 years old by the time you're graduating to be a police officer. That's because of the requirements for firearms and things of that nature. So for students that are interested in that pathway, it's really important important to be able to have some experience and background and be able to kind of test this out. This is a great opportunity. But like you heard, it's really, there's a lot of students with a lot of different goals in this program, and it's working for all of them. So it is a 2-year program. We do actually have this program at 2 campuses, and we have some seats available in both. They have different time frames, so I'll go over both. So at Central Campus, the first year of the program is from 4 until 6:30. The second year of the program is from 1 until 3:30. It's Monday through Friday, $125 registration fee, and 1 credit of English and 1 credit of algebra, both with a C or higher. And that's for both campuses. So regardless of where you wanted to apply for, you'll still have that Monday through Friday, $125 registration, and the requirements will be the same. If you want to attend this program at our Northwest campus, and surprise, we do have some seats available for some different time frames. So the first year of the program is from 1 until 3:30 p.m. The second year of the program is from 7 until 9:30 a.m. So that's just one thing to kind of keep in mind for your scheduling piece. And just as, again, a little side note as we're going through, some of these time frames are obviously in the morning or sometimes where you might have classes. So having a conversation with your counselor is always a good idea as well, just to make sure that you have a class that you can take at another time. So like if you have to have English next year, make sure that your English isn't only offered at 8 a.m. So that you can kind of, if you're going to take that morning session, that kind of thing. Okay, so let's run on to pharmacy technician. So this is really an interesting program for those students that are interested in the pharmacy field or the medical field, but they're not necessarily quite ready to work with somebody that's sick all day, every day. So this is really learning how to be that pharmacy technician, which is the person that you're normally interacting with when you go to pick up medications, and you'll, answer, or you get some questions answered from the pharmacist, but oftentimes the person that you spend the most time with is a pharmacy technician. So in this program, students are going to learn how to work in a simulated clinical environment to prepare and package a variety of medications, including compounding and IV solutions. So students can work in a retail pharmacy like CVS or Walgreens. They can work in a mail order pharmacy, which is becoming more and more common. They can also work in a hospital pharmacy. So just think about all the different locations that are hiring just because of all those different opportunities. Students will also learn how to deliver great customer service, manage inventory, prepare prescriptions, and maintain the quality and purity of those medications. And finally, they'll learn how to explore disease treatments using pharmacology in a variety of healthcare environments. So we do cover a little bit of everything in this program. Let's go check out the video.
So my favorite part about this program is definitely going to be the sterile compounding. It's super awesome. You get gloved up, get gowned up, get to get the needles going. It's super cool. Great to compound the medications and such. After my program, after I graduate high school, I'm going to be attending University of Arizona for pharmaceutical sciences to continue my education in this career field. I would tell students interested in this program that this is the hands-on best place to start. If this is what you want to do, this is the best place to get your feet wet, get your toes in the sand, get ready to start your career. Right here we're setting up for our compound, and then this is a laminar flow hood. Basically just pushes out all the microbials and all that nasty stuff out. That way your compound stays sterile. Anything hospital-wise, just this could be something as simple. Obviously, I'm not doing a real deal. This could be used just as a simple IV, just to get people nutrients and such, stuff like that. Just the basics, really. And you draw up how much you're gonna need. We'll just go with a quick 5. Keep it easy. Decap the needle, bevel down, and then you'll line up like this, right against 45. Push. Call that bunny ears. Get the loop. Push in, and then makes it much easier. Try to get that air bubble out, that way you're not getting no air in there. Let's see, does the job for you, right to 5. And then you don't want to block the airflow, so you'll turn that at an angle, make sure your hands aren't blocking it. Easy as that, push it in, and you're all done.
Okay, so this is another one-year program. Something that is important to note about this one is it is limited to your senior year. So if you're starting your junior year, you'll have to wait until next year for this program, but you can apply this fall. So this program is located at 2 of our campuses, and they both do have some spots available. So I'll go over both for that again. So at our Northeast campus, which is in that North Phoenix I-17 Deer Valley area, the time that we have available is from 4 until 6:30, and it is Monday through Friday, registration fee of $125, and the requirements are 1 credit of English, 1 credit of algebra, and 1 credit of lab science like biology, all with a C or higher. We also do have some seats available at our Southwest location in Buckeye off of I-10 and Verrado. Same time, same Monday through Friday, same credit requirements, or excuse me, not the same time. It's the same everything else, but the time is at one different piece. So at Southwest campus, the time that we have available is from 7 until 9:30 a.m. So this would be something that if you're kind of in between the two, think about which time would be better for you. But if you're closer to one campus than the other, then we would recommend that you look at the one that's closest to you rather than the scheduling piece, unless you have the ability to get to that other campus. You can apply for any program at any campus. You just have to provide your transportation, which we will talk a little bit more about at the very end. Alrighty, so Kaylee, back to you.
All right, so our next program is physical therapy technician. And in this program, this is where you're going to learn how to help patients either like in a hospital setting, kind of regain their strength, learn how to walk again, and just do like basic movements as like walking up steps and things like that. Or also if someone like broke their arm or anything like that, they learn how to kind of gain that strength back and movements as well. In this program, you'll learn how to execute customized exercise and therapeutic treatments to assist patients with increased strength and mobility and coordination. You'll also use advanced ultrasound, electrical stimulation, hot and cold therapies, and mobility assist devices to rehabilitate patients after any injury or illness, and then also prepare clinic facilities, chart progress, and also provide individual patient plan documentations. And I can tell you from experience, this is really important. I broke my finger in January, and if I had not gone through physical therapy, I probably wouldn't be able to use my hand the same way. So being able to chart all of that progress and really kind of map out a plan for the individual and what they have going on is really important. So we're going to take a look at this next video for physical therapy.
What I like about this program is probably specifically Mr. Rice. He's such a great teacher. He knows when people have their off days. Definitely when it's in the morning, it's a little difficult, but he knows when people have their off days, and he knows how to comfort them and like adjust things to make it more comfortable. Like if they're struggling, he knows how to make it their way to teach. And yeah, I just love how hands-on it is. It's not always just sitting down taking notes. I love how hands-on it is. It's adjustable for all learning styles. After this program, I am going to be attending a 4-year college in Colorado to major in pre-physical therapy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what would you tell students that are interested in this program?
Do it. It's one in a lifetime opportunity. It's so fun. You get to meet a bunch of amazing people. You get to open up more opportunities for career-wise. You get to learn more skills in the workplace. You just know safety and sanitation. Just basic stuff that you need to be able to get into a career.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mr. Rice. I am the physical therapy instructor here at the Southwest campus. I just wanted to take a couple of seconds and kind of give you a little bit of insight about the program if you're on the fence. Here at West-MEC, we do offer the opportunity to get into the medical field through physical therapy, through the certification. So here at the Southwest campus, through our certification process, we're just trying to get you an opportunity to get into the medical field, get some opportunity to build a resume, earn a certification, whether it be through physical therapy or CPR or OSHA 10. So obviously you can see behind me the beautiful facility that we have. We love to be in there, hands-on learning. A lot of our time is spent in there, so we'd love to have you out. Please consider coming to join us here at the Southwest campus.
All right, that was an awesome look into our physical therapy program at our Southwest campus. We do have seats available at our Southwest campus, so that was the lab that you saw. This is a one-year program, and it goes from 1 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. It does have a $125 registration fee, and for this program, you need 1 credit of English and 1 credit of lab science with a C or higher. And one other note that I want to make, just to remind you guys, is that with these times that you might have class during the day, usually classes don't get out until like 2 or so, depending on what school you go to. We do give you elective credit for that. So sometimes that makes a little room in your schedule to either get out early, get out, or come in late. So that's kind of an option as well to kind of keep in mind if you're worried about scheduling. But obviously, talk with your counselor. They know your schedule, they know the time frame, all of those things. Let's look on to our next program. So our final program is veterinary sciences. In this program, this is where you're learning how to assist a vet. And yes, there are live animals on this campus. We mainly work with dogs and cats. And specifically at Southwest campus, they do have a barn. So occasionally throughout some units, there might be some horses and cattle as well. So if you're interested in that livestock aspect as well, you might get a little bit more opportunities to have some hands-on experience there as well. So in this program, like I said, you get to assist a vet. They do some basic surgeries there. They do spays and neuters, as well as some dental procedures as well. So they learn all of the things that they have to do to help maintain and make sure that the animal is doing well in the surgery. So they get to work daily with certified professionals to manage an animal wellness clinic that provides training, enrichment, and socialization to adoptable animals. So the animals that we do have at our campuses are adoptable. So if you have friends or family that want a dog or cat, they are well taken care of here. You'll also learn how to deliver quality veterinary care by assisting with restraint examinations and preparation for x-rays and surgeries. And then you'll also be able to explore the science of veterinary medicine, including nutrition, disease prevention, and anatomy and physiology. Let's take a look into our veterinary sciences.
So I am a veterinary science instructor currently. I have 28 years of veterinary technology experience. I attended Bellray Institute of Animal Technology, and since then have worked for a multitude of different veterinary practices, utilizing my skills in different facets, if you will, of this field. Some of which include government work, some of it includes college education, externship opportunities, emergency medicine, some wildlife, laboratory medicine. It's just kind of a little bit all over the place. I was also a police officer and an animal control officer. So what I would tell you is, if I knew then what I know now, this would definitely be something that I wish we would have had the opportunity to have at our fingertips. We did not have the opportunity to do this, and it would have taught me a little bit more about the field than what I know now. I love this field. You do it because you love animals, not for the love of money. And you know, I would just say that it's such a great opportunity for you guys, given that it's a career and technical education program. You can do this while you're in high school, and you're not wasting your time. At least this way you kind of get an idea of what it is that you want to do with your future. And if veterinary medicine is what you're thinking you want to do, but you're not fully sure, this is the route to go. Oh, financial piece. I really am excited and looking forward to teaching that. I know it's quite different, but you know, in our field, I think everybody tends to think that veterinarians make a lot of money or veterinary technicians make a lot of money, and the reality of it is that we don't. Like I said a few moments ago, we do this because we love animals, not because we expect to make a lot of money. And no matter what position I've ever held in the veterinary field, it's never quite provided for my family, if you will. So with that, I've had to learn how to manage my finances quite differently, and I feel that's such an important piece that my students really need to have that, and they need to start now because it starts here. That's the reason why career and technical education is one of the best things that you can do for yourself.
All right, so this is a 2-year program. We have seats available currently at our Southwest campus. This is a very popular program, so we do have this at multiple campuses. So if you are looking into programs, if you're going into your sophomore year kind of thing, we do have more opportunities at other campuses. But right now, currently, we do have seats open at our Southwest campus. The first year you would attend from 4 to 6:30. Second year would be from 1 to 3:30. This is Monday through Friday as well. It is a $125 registration fee. And for this program, you need 1 credit of English, 1 credit of algebra, and 1 credit of lab science with a C or higher. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Maya.
Okay, so now at this point, I wanted to take some time just to answer some frequently asked questions. And then if you have any questions that you haven't been able to ask yet, go ahead and type those in now. And as they're received, Kaylee and Kevin can let me know and I can get those answered for you. So frequently asked questions, one huge thing is transportation. How do students get to our campuses? So like I've said a little bit before, we recommend that students start looking at programs that are closest to them because West-MEC can't provide transportation. So we cover 3,600 square miles. So we haven't quite figured out a bus route, although we really wish we could, it's just not feasible at this point. So the most common way that students are really getting to our campus is carpooling with other students from their school. So that's always a great thing to just kind of collaborate with other students that are going to be coming to West-MEC. It doesn't have to be the same program as long as it's the same time frame at the same campus. So that does open up some opportunities. We do have parking lots for students if they're going to drive themselves. And then there is always an option for students to carpool with family members as well. So that's one huge one. Another question that we get asked commonly is sports. How does West-MEC kind of work with sports? And the answer is it's really challenging for students that are going to be in sports to do West-MEC at the same time. The reason being a lot of times they happen at the same time and you can't be in 2 places at once, although I really wish that we could. So just because of that, a lot of times students do have to make a decision whether they're going to do sports or West-MEC. Sometimes we have some students that, you know, they make it work where they only have practice in the evening. They don't have any tournaments or meets or anything during the week, only on the weekends. So they come to West-MEC in the morning, then they have their school classes, and then they'd have sports in the evening. Even if you can make it work, one thing to keep in mind is that really makes for a long day. So just be kind of cognizant of that. Unfortunately, sometimes you do just have to choose one or the other. Just as a reminder, all of these programs are certification based. They're all those career training programs. So they all have opportunities for you after graduation for actual jobs. All these jobs range in salary, but they're all above minimum wage because now you have more experiences, more skills, and more background than the typical high school graduate. So that's a huge, huge thing for you. Or if you're really just using this as kind of career exploration to see if this is what you want to study in college, or if this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, you're paying a very minimal amount before committing that time and or money to that. So that's a huge piece. We have mentioned dual enrollment. So I just wanted to go over that. Dual enrollment is offered for many of our programs, not all of them quite yet. If you haven't heard of dual enrollment before, that is when you just attend West-MEC classes, and if you opt into those, we've gotten our curriculum and our teachers for those programs certified through that community college that we work with to offer community college credit. So you get high school credit, work towards certifications, and college credit at the exact same time. Huge benefit. You do have to pay a registration fee through the community college. So you have to pay a processing fee essentially for each credit. It's $85 a credit. We break up the exact cost that would look like on our website, which is west-mec.edu. Under high school students, there's a tab for dual enrollment resources. So go check that out if you're interested in that, to see if the program that you're looking at does have that offered. If you do come to West-MEC, our counselor will be working alongside all of our families and students to help you navigate that piece. We do have some kind of different perspectives to that. So EMT and fire science are both concurrent enrollment programs. So you're actually on college campus with college campus instructors in a college campus program. So we pay really the cost for that. So you just pay that registration fee, we pay the tuition piece. It's about $1,500 for both EMT or fire science that we pay. So that's obviously a huge benefit. The other one that's a little bit different is aviation maintenance technology, has a relationship with Eastern New Mexico University at Roswell. So for students that are interested in getting some college credit, they actually take 5 courses through Eastern New Mexico University Roswell online. It's English, like a college algebra, there's like a computer science class, and then some elective kind of classes that you take on there. And then once you take those 5 classes online and you get certified as a really aviation maintenance technician, you take that certification to them and turn it in, and they automatically award you an associate's degree. So you take 5 classes and you get a 2-year degree, which is 60 credits. So that is quite a few $1,000s to be able to do that. So that's a huge, huge opportunity as well. Okay, so those were the big questions that I had. Kaylee, Kevin, do you guys think of some other ones? Oh, yes, okay. Kaylee has some that she's gotten in. So should I do this program if I don't know what I want to do? And the answer is absolutely. This is a great career exploration piece. If you're kind of on the fence and you think that you want to test it out, this is a way to pay $125 for most of these programs, as opposed to thousands of dollars or spend a lot of time after graduation. So it's a great way to kind of learn more about this program or test it out. Can I just take a program with my friend? You can, as you heard in the program, make friends in all of our programs. Every program has a really unique atmosphere because all students are there because they have a common interest. Everybody's there because they're interested in learning about whatever that program is. So friendships grow very quickly in our program. There's a very good chance that you might have another student from your school or from your class in your program with you, but we really want you to look at what you're most interested in and take that program. So if your best friend is coming to West-MEC and they're going to be doing our veterinary sciences program, but you are just really, really interested in coding, do coding, not veterinary sciences. Part of our really application process, we do have a rubric, and part of that looks at your career goals. So you're going to get more points if you're applying for a program that's related to your pathway, because ultimately we want to help you with that path, but that only works if we figure out which program is going to be the best stepping stone to help you get there. When would I know if I'm accepted if I apply now? Quickly, so all of these programs that we covered today do have seats available now. However, that can change at any moment, because as we receive applications online, we're processing them and getting students enrolled, because we start school next week for most of these programs. Aviation starts on Monday, the 2nd. All the other programs, with the exception of fire science and EMT, start on the 4th. EMT and fire science start a little bit later, in a couple weeks, in the middle of August, because of the college program schedule for that. So because we're really in that last time frame of really needing to get students enrolled, we're processing pretty quickly. So you should know within a few days. So essentially the big things for you to know is, if you apply for any of these programs, do it now, do it soon. Make sure you print it out, you sign it, your parent or guardian signs it, and you turn it into your counselor at your high school, or if they are not open, turn it into the district office for the CTE director, and they can do that for you and process it. We need transcripts, we need a rubric, we need some other pieces, and they'll send that all for us. If any of you guys here with us today are a homeschool student, that does look a little bit different, and the family essentially acts as the counselor. So instead of turning it into the counselor, the family then process it. But if you have any questions about that, feel free to let us know. You can always respond to the emails that you got for this. Or you can also just send us an email at any time to recruiters, RUITERS at West, MEC.org. Okay, what do I need to apply? So to apply, you just go to our website, which is west-mec.edu. In the upper right-hand corner, there is a button that says apply now. You'll click that, and then you click high school programs, and you go through and you fill it out. It takes about 15 minutes. That's all you need to apply. Then once you finish that application, that's when we're going to need transcripts with those grades that we talked about, showing that you do have that C or higher in those credits needed for that program. We'll look at your attendance record, your discipline record. We'll look at your career pathway and how it relates to this program. So those are some other things that are going to come to us, but your counselor takes care of those pieces. So you just need that application. Okay, what grade do I need to be in to start next week? So you have to be at least a junior as of this fall in your school for these programs, with the exception of pharmacy technician, which you have to take your senior year. So if you're currently here and you're going to be starting your sophomore year or your freshman year, I'm glad that you could come and I'm glad that you could learn about all this, but you would be waiting to apply. So really the last few seats that we've got available for this fall as of next week or a couple weeks after for EMT and fire science, you have to be at least a junior. Is there a dress code? So yes, our programs do have a uniform or dress code depending on the program. We talk about that really as you get more information from the campus, but you saw some of that in those videos. So like for our medical programs, they wear scrubs. We provide 2 tops the first year and 1 top the second year for those 2-year programs. And then you provide the pants needed, whether that's jeans or scrubs, and shoes. Normally that's going to be like athletic shoes, but for some of our programs like aviation, you would need more work boots. And we detail that all for you as you're enrolling in the program, making sure that you really get those ordered and you have all the information that you need for that uniform. But it is required every day. So if you show up in a t-shirt and shorts, you're going to be asked to either go change or go home, because it is not only required for the safety of the program, because we want to make sure that you're really prepared for whatever might be being used in the program that day, but it's also really preparing you for the job in that field. This is what you're going to wear to the workplace if you go into a job after this program. So that means that just like if you were to show up to be really an aviation mechanic, you're going to need to wear your uniform every day. It's the exact same expectation for our programs. And lastly, am I guaranteed a job right after I finish a program? You're not guaranteed a job. However, we do have staff on West-MEC that really is working always to make sure that we can help you with those job options. So we have a career services team at every single one of our campuses. Those career coaches will work with all of our students to have a professional resume. They do mock interviewing skills, and they also have really kind of like a database of all the jobs in the area that would really you would meet the requirements for. So they'll tell you of some opportunities that you can be applying for, and they will also bring in employers to the classroom or to the campus so you can start kind of networking to learn more about those job opportunities after graduation. So those are really the big questions that we had that I wanted to answer that we didn't get a chance to answer in the chat box or that we received prior. So those are the questions as of now. But like I said, if you ever have questions later on, you can always send us an email. Again, that's recruiters@west-mec.org. Or you can always go chat with your counselor at your high school, which is always a really important step and a really great opportunity for you to kind of collaborate with them. So with that, we'll just leave you with this quote that was on one of our posters for this year, which is, "Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change." So we hope that one of these programs will be that change opportunity for you to grow your life into whatever you want it to be. And we hope that we will see you in one of our programs this year or in the future potentially. Thank you so much for coming. We did record this, so we will be sending it out to you. So if you want to reference this, you will be able to look back. And you'll have emails from us as well. So again, you can send us questions at any time and we can answer those for you. Make sure if you're interested in any program, you go apply sooner rather than later, because like I said, school is just around the corner. So we hope that you enjoyed your time here. We hope that you got your questions answered. Thank you again for coming, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.